Everyone, here we're going to see how classes and objects work. So we have two classes over here. One is the student class, and the second class is the Java class. So in the student class, we have the main function. We can either create two classes on separate files like this, or you can either continue down over here. There are two things which you're going to notice here. One is how objects and classes work, and the second one is how the getter and setter methods work. So initially, I have taken a class called Java, which contains a string name, which is a student's name, and the admission number of the student, which is an integer variable, and there is int mark, and five numbers are allotted for it, and there's an integer variable called average. And once I create all these variable instances, I can go for this insert code, and there is something called getter and setter over here. You'll get something, and once you click that, all of these will be given by the system in default. So there is a getter for all the variables like name, admission number, marks, and the average. So you have get for all of them. Get name, get admission number, set admission number, get marks, set marks, and average marks, and for getting and setting the average marks. So for the marks, for setting the marks, you have an array. So we'll see how that is handled in the main function. And you cannot run this class because it does not have the main class. When you try to run the class, it shows you a dialog box which says that it does not contain the main method. So I go to the main methods class, which is the class student, and here I have the main method, which actually, when you run the program, the first line which is appearing for you here is the student mark sheet. Enter the admission number. So I say 6325, and when I say enter, it asks me for the name of the student. When I say write, it is asking me the marks of the student. If I say 90, 95, 96, 94, and 98. So finally, it is giving me the sum, the total marks the student has scored, and it is also giving me the average of what the student has scored. So for that, we first taking the input from the user. I've created an object of a class dynamically, and this is how we represent that. Java class is name of the class, and J is the name of the object, and new keyword is used to declare that dynamically, and again you use the class name to allot memory for it. So when you ask for the admission number, you're again using the scanner class, using an int admin to save the value over there, and after that I'm using an other scanner class so that I can enter the name of the student, and here I say next line or just next to get the statement input, the string input. So after that, to pass the mark value, I am going to take int mark. I've initialized an object, and when I pass the value for int mark of I am going to say mark of I, and for each mark of I, the for loop is running from I 0 to less than 5. So each time I scan the value, put it in j.setMarks, and this value is passed to this set mark of I. So when that is passed, each value like a mark of 0, mark of 1, everything is getting stored. So once I'm done with that, I need to sum each and every value using the for loop. So once I sum all of them, I'm going to store it in the value sum, and I'm going to print the sum value, and average will be sum by 2. So finally, I am going to take the admission number from the student, and I'm going to pass it to j.getName. So when you're referring to some method, you're going to use the object and the dot operator and the method name. So this is what I've done for the get name. When you're setting the name, you do j.setName and then send the name over here. So the get name and set names, or get methods and set methods, are used over here to store the variables, and this is how your output looks like. Thank you.